Extending the FxStudio system. Part 1. In this demonstration we will show you how to extend the FxStudio system by adding some new functionality to the particle system component. My first task is to edit the component definition, which I will do by choosing Edit Component Definition from the main menu. For this demonstration we are going to be adding two new properties to the particle system that will control alpha referencing for some interesting effect. My first task is to choose where I want these new properties to appear, and I am going to choose the particle appearance property group. By choosing the Add New Property drop list on the Property Editor menu bar, I choose a new Boolean property. Now, in the Properties panel of the Component Editor, once I have the new property selected, I can set up a name for it. And I can also provide a tooltip so that there's an explanation of what this property does. I'm going to add a second property now, which is a float ramp, and the float ramp will control the actual alpha reference value. Again, I move to the Properties panel of the Component Editor, and I give the new property a name and a tooltip. Moving back to the Property Editor, I can now position my two new properties wherever I see fit. I'm going to move them down to just below the FX property by clicking and dragging. The next step is to set up the default values for our new floating point ramp. We know we want the range to go between 0 and 255. So by clicking in the max value text box, I can enter my new upper range. I can also rename the ramp, the new ramp, and give it a more user-friendly name. And finally, I can choose a new default color for the ramp channel. And in this case, I'm going to pick red. Now that we've added our two new properties to our particle system, our last step is to save our changes, which we do by going to the File, Save menu. I'm now going to create a new effect to show our changes by dragging out a particle system from the component browser to a track, and then moving down to the Property Editor. We can now see the two new properties that we added, ready for editing. This concludes part 1 of extending the FxStudio system. In part 2, we will be demonstrating the client-side changes required to support alpha referencing and our two new properties.